An unfortunate incident of fire has killed 2 and left 4 others injured in Biratnagar. Also in this edition of Kantipur News, we have updates about the continuous heavy fighting in Gaza and the Nepal Super League. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Public Accounts Committee directs government to halt the sale process of Enel, concludes the transfer of ownership opaque. Prime Minister to be called for discussions. Police begins investigation in suspicion of involvement of officials of Russian embassy in illegal recruitment of Nepali nationals in Russian security forces. 12 arrested so far. Heavy fighting continues across Gaza, 600,000 people under evacuation orders. Israel Army calls on international community to do more for release of 138 confirmed hostages. And Pokhara Thunders secure a 1-0 win over Sporting Elam to climb atop the Nepal Super League standings. Chitwan play Butwal tomorrow. Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives has directed the government to halt the sale of shares of Enel. Today's meeting of the committee held in Singhadarbar decided to direct the government to immediately halt the sale process of the shares of Enel. Citing unnatural transaction amount in the sale of shares of Enel and suspecting tax evasion, the committee has called for an investigation. The committee has also decided to hold talks with Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal in this regard. At the meeting, many parliamentarians also alleged the involvement of politicians in the sale process. They also called for clarification from the government regarding the Enel statement, where it had said that the entity was exiting from Nepal because of the lack of investment environment. Axiata had purchased the 80% share of Enel at more than 100 billion rupees in 2016 and has sold the same shares at only 6.65 billion rupees. Parliamentarians have shared their concerns, citing lack of transparency regarding the transactions of shares of telecommunication service provider entity Enel. They have also demanded assessment of investment and the lack of financial discipline in the transactions. At the meeting of the Finance Committee of the House of Representatives, parliamentarians called for assessment of the issues raised by the transactions of shares of Enel. They also expressed concerns regarding the statements of companies investing in Nepal, saying that such statements send a wrong message regarding the investment environment in Nepal. The parliamentarians have also demanded holding such companies responsible. The parliamentarians also demanded to summon the Chief Executive Officer of Axiata, the main investors of Enel, main Nepal partners, Minister for Finance, Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Chief Executive of the Investment Board and Chair of the Nepal Telecommunications Authority, among other stakeholder entities, at the Finance Committee. Meanwhile, Enel Axiata has expressed the commitment of completely abiding by Nepali laws during transactions of the shares of Enel. In a correspondence with the Nepal Telecommunications Authority, the Enel Axiata made this commitment. Prior to this, it was revealed that Axiata had sold the shares without pre-approval on December 1. Immediately after that incident, the authority had reminded Enel about the arrangement, which requires approval before the change in ownership or transactions of shares. Police have arrested 12 individuals alleged of illegally sending Nepali nationals to Russia for recruitment in Russian security forces. Police had begun investigations after 6 Nepali nationals had died while fighting for Moscow. Nepal police has also made preparations to seek information from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as it has suspected involvement of the officials of the Embassy of Russia in Nepal in the recruitment process. District Police Kathmandu had begun investigation into the recruitment of Nepali nationals in Russian security forces after the death of 6 Nepali nationals while representing Russia. The Security Department has now detained 12 individuals accused of illegally sending young men for recruitment in Russian forces. People has also suspected involvement of officials of the Embassy of Russia in Nepal in the recruitment process and has made preparations to seek additional information through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as one of those arrested had mentioned of ties with the Russian embassy. Police investigation has identified Hari Bahadur Bika as the mastermind behind sending Nepali nationals to Russia. Bika, who had quit his job at Nepal Army, is seen to have been involved in the illegal recruitment through the manpower company operated by Neeraj Pandey. Pandey has been found of taking 1.1 million rupees from each individual to send them to Russia. Police has said that 11 individuals sent through this channel have returned. The government of Nepal has restricted Nepali nationals from visiting Russia after the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. However, the group had been sending them to Russia through India and the United Arab Emirates. Police has also confiscated 43 passports and 1.4 million rupees in cash from those arrested. After the death of 6 Nepali nationals, the government had made a no objection letter from the Department of Consular Services of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a mandatory requirement for visiting Russia. Hearing on the case filed against former Minister for Home Affairs Krishna for his involvement in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam has been scheduled for 14th of December under a single bench at Patan High Court. The High Court administration has scheduled the hearing for 14th of December following discussion at the full bench of judges. The hearing is to be conducted under the bench of another judge, as judges Janak Pandey and Prakash Kharel were divided regarding the bail of a former Home Minister Khand. The court administration has decided to conduct the hearing under a single bench through a lottery process, even though legal practitioners have been raising voices against it. Judge Pandey had suggested releasing Khand on bail of 3 million rupees by revoking the decision of the Kathmandu District Court. Meanwhile, Judge Prakash Kharel opposed granting bail to Khand, due to which Khand is still in police custody. The government has identified 6 irrigation projects with national pride status with a view to ensure proper irrigation facility for arable land. All the projects of the Ministry for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation are prioritized and allocated budget annually. However, despite allocation of sufficient amount of budget, the progress of these projects have remained negligible. The government has termed 17 projects as National Pride projects for the first time in the fiscal year 2011-12. A total of 27 projects have been listed as National Pride projects so far, including 6 projects related to irrigation. Sikta, Babai, Mahakali and Rani Jamara are irrigation projects, while Sunkoshi Marine and Bhedi Babai are multi-purpose projects. These irrigation projects were started with a view to transform infrastructure and agriculture development, while Babai irrigation project had begun in the fiscal year 1988-89. However, in 35 years, the physical progress of the project has been limited to 70%. Likewise, the investment on the project has a target of providing irrigation facility to 40,000 hectares of land in Bardia has increased 6-fold. The investment, which was initially projected at 2.87 billion rupees, has now reached 18.96 billion rupees. Construction of Sikta irrigation project that had begun 20 years ago has also been limited to less than 40%, while Mahakali irrigation project, which was started around the same time, has reported 19.29% physical progress. The investment on Sikta irrigation project, which has a target of providing irrigation facility to 42,766 hectares of land, has increased from 12 billion rupees to 25 billion. Furthermore, the physical progress of Rani Jamara irrigation project, which was started in the fiscal year 2010-11, has been limited to 70%. The investment in the project, which is set to provide irrigation facility to 38,300 hectares of land upon its completion, has increased by 15 billion rupees. Bheri Babai and Sunkoshi Marine are both multi-purpose projects. Both the projects have a target of generating electricity from water brought through tunnel and use the same water for irrigation as well. The process of Bheri has been limited to 54% in 12 years, while only 25.5% of the works of Sunkoshi Marine have completed in 7 years. 52 irrigation projects are under construction in the country, including those that have been included in the government's Pride project. All the irrigation projects, besides the two multi-purpose projects, have been partially providing irrigation facility. The government must prioritize these projects at a time when irrigation facility has yet to reach 1 million hectares of arable land in the country. In our Public Voice segment, today we have asked in several provinces regarding ways to complete the national pride projects of irrigation within the deadline. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
सरकारले चाहिँ समयमा बजेटको विनियोजन गर्नु पर्यो
बजेट विनियोजन गर्ने तिर नजाने टेन्डर तिर नजाने त्यही हो मेन समस्या त्यसैको कारणले त यो सब धरापमा परिरहेछ
विकासका कार्यहरू सुचारू भएको छैन त्यसलाई चाहिँ शीघ्रताका साथ सुचारू गर्नु पर्यो
सरकारकै आफ्नै भ्रष्ट नीति र काम गर्ने सवालमा पारदर्शिता नभएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि यी योजनाहरू समयमा सम्पन्न नभएको प्रश्न बुझ्न सकिन्छ
अवधिभित्र त्यो बजेटको विनियोजन गरेर अनि कार्य सम्पन्न गरेपछि त्यो राष्ट्रिय गौरवका योजनाहरू सफल हुनेछ
सरकारले ध्यान दिएर छिटोभन्दा छिटो त्यहाँ खोलिदिन पर्यो
बजेट प्रशस्त रूपमा सरकारले लगानी गरिदियो भनेपछि चाँडो सिद्धिने थियो
आयोजनाको निर्माण अवधिभर निर्माण जन्य सामग्रीहरूको अभाव हुन दिन चाहिँ भएन
ठेकेदारहरूले पनि यसलाई मतलब छिटो काम गरिदिने
स्थानीय तहदेखि नै अब हामीले अब सम्बन्धित निकायहरूमा चाहिँ झकझगाउनु पर्यो
ठेक्का प्रणालीहरूमा राजनीतिक चाहिँ संरक्षण गर्ने र अनियमितताका लागि झन् ढाकछोप गर्ने परिपाटीको चाहिँ अन्त्य नहुँदासम्म योजनाहरू राम्रोसँग हुन सक्दैन
There are a total of 32,000 pharmacies across the country. It is the responsibility of the Department of Drug Administration to monitor them. However, with only 6 human resources for this task, the department is almost unaware about the status of the pharmacies. Medicines are being sold by the pharmacies without following guidelines. A recent monitoring conducted by the Kathmandu Metropolis has found sales of medicines that are not registered and sales without prescription by unauthorized individuals. There are almost 1,800 pharmacies in Kathmandu Metropolis. Of the 62 pharmacies monitored by the Metropolis, it has directed to shut 3 of them. Responsibility of the Department of Drug Administration ranges from registration of pharmacies to their monitoring. In addition to this, the Local Government Operating Act 2007, in fact, Operation Act 2017 has also assigned the responsibility of monitoring medicines related products and their sales and distribution to the local levels. The department has said that it has not been able to ensure efficient monitoring because of inadequate human resource and has only been monitoring around 3,500 pharmacies each year. In addition to pharmacies, the department is also responsible for the monitoring of the pharmaceutical companies. It has said that actions as provisioned by the law would be taken against those found selling medicines against the legal provisions. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Before that, let's take a look at the result from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked what should be done to increase soil fertility. 20% voted for A, balanced use of fertilizers, 57% for B, organic farming, and 23% for C, regular soil test. Here's today's question. What should be done to put an end to the irregularities in the sales and distribution of medicines? The options are A, follow laws, B, regular monitoring, and C, consumer awareness. Voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. 2 persons have died while 4 others were seriously injured in a fire at a storage facility, Satkhumti of Biratnagar. According to Morang's police spokesperson Ranjan Kumar Dahal, one of the deceased has been identified as 30-year-old Deepak Mandal of Biratnagar 7, while the identity of the other deceased woman is yet to be ascertained. Mandal had breathed his last while undergoing treatment, while the other individual had died on the spot. 55-year-old Rita Sadar, 60-year-old Sushila Paswan, 58-year-old Kishore Paswan and 30-year-old Pinky Kamath were seriously injured and have been taken to the burn center in Kantipur, Kathmandu in an army aircraft for treatment. The cause of the fire remains to be ascertained. Rita and Sushila are in a serious condition. Time now for international update. Heavy fighting is taking place across Gaza, with house-to-house fighting reported as Israeli forces intensify their ground operation, while the Israel army has said that there are still 138 confirmed hostages being held in Gaza and have called on the international community to do more for their release. Tanks are closing in on three areas: Khan Yunis in the south and Jabalia and Shujaiya in the north, where hundreds of thousands of civilians remain. The UN says 600,000 people are under evacuation orders in southern Gaza, but there is nowhere to go because shelters are so full. On Tuesday, Israel said its troops had reached the heart of Khan Yunis, the largest southern city, on the most intense day of fighting in its ground operation. Israel believes Hamas leaders could be hiding in the city, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insists the war can only be won with crushing force. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says 73 people have been killed in central Gaza in the past 24 hours. In an update, the health ministry says 73 bodies and 123 injured people were taken at Al-Aqsa Hospital in central Gaza in the past day. Israel's army spokesman Daniel Hagari confirmed there are still 138 hostages being held in Gaza and called on the international community to do more to secure their release. Hagari said that the international community must take action and that the Red Cross must have access to the hostages. A total of 110 hostages taken during the 7th October attack on Israel have been released. 78 were freed during a 6-day ceasefire at the end of November as part of a deal between Israel and Hamas. According to international media, they have seen evidence of rape, sexual violence and mutilation of women during the 7th October Hamas attacks on Israel. The Hamas attack, which sparked this war, killed 1,200 people, with around 240 others taken hostage. Hamas officials in Gaza say at least 16,248 people have been killed in Israel's retaliatory campaign, including about 7,000 children. Time now for sports update.
Sports news.
Pokhara Thunderers have secured a 1-0 win over Sporting Elam to go atop the Nepal Super League standings. First half of the match, played at the Dashrath Stadium in Tripureshwar, had ended in a goalless stalemate. Pokhara then made a strong start in the second half with several chances and were immediately put ahead with the solitary goal of the match from Sanjeev Bista. Despite creating more opportunities, Pokhara failed to convert them, while Elam also wasted their chances for an equalizer. It was Elam's third defeat in 4 matches and are 6th in the standings with 3 points, while Pokhara remain unbeaten with 2 wins and 2 draws and are atop the table with 8 points. Dhangadi FC are second with 7 points with a game in hand. In tomorrow's match, Butwal Lumbini take on FC Chitwan. Butwal are placed 7th with 3 points from 3 matches, while Chitwan are 5th with 4 points from same number of matches played. Dangihat Football Club Morang have progressed to the final of the first Kirat Gold Cup underway in Pachthar headquarters Fidim. In the first semi-final match played today, Morang saw off organisers Panchthar Football Club 4-1 in the tiebreakers to inch closer to the title. Both teams had settled for a goalless draw in the regulation time. Morang goalkeeper Pramjay Gakshadar was adjudged the player of the match. Birta United Jhapa played Karna Singh Sonam Memorial Club Taplejung in the second semi-final of the Kirat Gold Cup slated for tomorrow. Winners of the tournament will receive 404,444 rupees in cash prize, while the runners-up will walk away with 202,222 rupees. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.